Hello and welcome to this edition of the Spotlight series. In this edition we'll be looking at the Hub Wellbeing widgets. These are due for release in the next service pack. They include the Learner Hub widget, the Assessor Hub widget and the Team widget, and you can see some examples on the right hand side of the screen there. We'll be looking at these in more detail shortly. Wellbeing of learners. This is important of course and can include physical, mental, emotional, social, financial, lifestyle and safety concerns. These can help to identify areas where the individual may need support, and we can signpost them to that support from here. We should therefore then monitor their well-being over time. This may then help improve their learning experience. Online documentation not yet available, will be available on release. Let's start with the learner login. So we're into the Learner Hub. You can see on the right hand side here, I've already got an annotated Wellbeing icon here saying that's okay, check in with us again tomorrow on the right hand side here. So how are you today? As the learner we can come in here, we can reset these as we go as well, so we don't just get to have one go at this. If I just press the plus on there, you'll see now that in this particular widget I can then set another icon if you want, another feeling, my well-being feeling. So the panel resets as often as that learner needs to in a day. But let's suppose, for example, that I set this at this icon in the center here, saying, you know, I'm fine, I'm not feeling bad, I'm not feeling great, but I'm okay. I could leave that now for 60 days, and that icon will stay resident on the main panels for the assessor and the team. Okay, so if the learner chooses not to change that icon and that feeling, it will sit there for up to 60 days before it resets to 0. Or back to default. Basically the learner can come back in here today though and say, right, I wasn't feeling great this morning, but actually now I feel really good, so you can change that to the one on the left. Or he could come across and say, well actually I'm feeling really bad today now as well. Now this gives that learner another option in this widget panel. So you can see here, do you need to talk to somebody? Well, he can there, by clicking that, go straight into this messages panel and just really send something to his assessor, something like this, and then of course they can send that off to the assessor, and that will be picked up on the front panel for that particular assessor. You can see his assessor at the top there is Tony Hall, but he can add in any other assessors he's linked to, like Ruben Gomez in this example, and just send that message off. So now that's at the top there. Like I said, he can come back into this any point and reset that if he wants to, leave it as a standard so there isn't anything chosen. Or if he wants to say that he's now happy, he can do that as well. So again, different messages, great, check in, check in with us again tomorrow, and so forth. So the idea is every learner can go in here and do this. Let's log out and see what this looks like from the assessor side of the system. So I've clicked over to the dashboard for the assessor here, and you can see on the left hand side I've got the caseload wellbeing widget, and the wellbeing index at the moment is 63, and you can see across my caseload there and down the bottom we have some features that then show us what the wellbeing looks like, not only at the overall caseload level but individually as well. Okay, so let's look at the one at the top first. You can see here this is saying I've got a 63% wellbeing index, and then below that's telling me what my caseload view looks like. I've got one really grumpy person, 2 okay and happy, and 1 really happy. Okay, so that's how my index is broken down currently. A couple of other features with this as well. Off the back of that, you can see down below here that in my learner's view that I do have an indicator on each of these, and then if I hover over each of those, it will tell me when the last time these well-being icons were changed by these learners, and we can see the representation for each of those against the learner itself. This also appears against the caseload view. So if we look at the learner's view on the left hand side here, we can configure a column here. So we all know that there is configuration to allow us to add columns into the config. We have one here for wellbeing as well, so we can look at this centrally as well if we want to. We can also jump into the learner and look at the learner panel. So if we look at the learner panel, and you look to the top right here where we've got ILR validation and traffic light status, there's also an icon here, and again, once again, you can hover over that and it will show you straight away the last time that icon was changed by this particular learner. Coming back to the front page, we sent a couple of messages, wellbeing messages through from the learners. You'll notice I sent one from Kevin Atwood. Okay, this isn't showing in this unread messages because he changed his icon from bad to good today, so that hasn't pulled that through to the messages area. What we can see is one from Nina Bolton here. So if we click the wellbeing there, I'm not feeling it today, had a bad day at work. So we can see those messages coming through. And that's the message straight from that wellbeing icon. Of course, we could lift this message up. We can return back to that message if we want. Or if it's something really, really important and we feel we need to give this person further support, we can obviously reference other agencies to help us out with this if we think that that's necessary. So I think this is a good piece of functionality to use. You can see up here it's very visual. We do have this at the team level as well. So very, very quickly, if I just flick the team view across, we can see we've got a caseload. Sorry, let's just get that back to the team view. We can see that we've got a caseload view here for the team. So this is all of the team below me, all of my assessors. At the moment, it's only showing a few in there because I've only actively used this against a couple of learners in my own caseload, not anybody from any of the other caseloads. But you can imagine it sits against every learner, against everybody in your team view. So you may have 100, 150 learners sitting under here. This would be a good representation overall from the team as to what the overall feeling of all the learners in the business might look like. So again, very visual, easy to represent, easy to see those icons, and then take actions if you need to. Again, just to reiterate, if you use the learner view, you can see the learner view down like this, and that will be the same if you drill into any of the assessor views from the team view itself to get to each assessor caseload. You'll be able to see what the average kind of well-being icon might look like at that level. I hope that makes sense. I think it's a really good feature, and obviously we are welcoming feedback from you once this is released very, very shortly on what you think this will do for you, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, or if you think we can improve it. Many thanks.